And now I call for the first speaker from affirmative teams to give her speech. Time is yours.
Mr. Speakers, our motion today is talking about foreign workers are better than local workers. The setup is coming from our team is, we think that the Asian Economic Community at the end of 2015 is the big issues why we need to compare with the foreign workers and also the local workers. We think that this is the way how people in Asia compete through their capability in the situation where the stability of economy is actually fluctuation. So this is the all employer around the world, not only in Asia, must be willing to become a multitasker employer in order to fulfill the fluctuation of the economy. Our team have some reason why we stand for the foreign worker over the local is because first, the superior of the skill they have. Second of all is about the knowledge. The third is about the experience. The fourth is about the hard working they coming from the foreign worker. The status quo for this issue is by not offering adequate protection to foreign workers, the government has created the condition that make it advantageous and lucrative to hire foreigners over locals. Ladies and gentlemen, let us take the example in Indonesia. For some occupation that we such as the project constructive, we hire for foreign workers because they are more capable to handle and taking care of the project while it is still on the building. For example, the power plant project in Bali, 50% from 100% workers are foreigner. We need to know it's proof to you that the employers from foreigner is better than we have in the local foreigners. First of all, let's talk about the superior skill. The contraflow of economic in the world make the government think to give the improvement for some employees they have. We know that now Indonesia also have those kind of program, but the question is how the employees can adjust themselves to the current condition or the work culture that apply in a company. For example, we have Japan, right? The country with a good disciplined people. We know that they work culture. So can you imagine if if the employer coming from Japan hire in Indonesia, we know that all company must be improved profit by getting good worker like Japan have. Second of all is about experience. Usually, the foreign workers come to some country to find their first experience or to learn how was the work culture applied in the country. The honorable educators, unfortunately, we haven't understand that the foreign worker have a great desire to give their soul for those company which is not. Before going to the next idea, any POI? Okay, good. Second of all, is, we have the hardworking. The most reasonable way companies prefer to hire foreign workers than local because the foreign have a good spirit to work. Yes, they are truly hardworking. Looking for the example to the low level, like a shopkeeper or like a cleaning servant and so on. They have a great spirit, how they can fulfill their life, how they can find money how they can earn money in outside their country because they want to fulfill their life. We also understand that foreign workers, there are skilled and unskilled, they are illegal or legal, but they all have already protection by the United States, but by the United Nations Convention on the Protection of the Right. All of the migrant workers and member is a person who is to be engaged or has been engaged in remunerated activity instead of which he or she is not a national. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, the conditions still prove that the company is still prefer to hire foreign workers as they are perceived to be more reliable and committed. The honorable educators, see that in a country that has a relatively educated workforce and government that exert its population to line of learning, the skill and knowledge for our workers should be competitive factor. We know that now Indonesia has already joined Asian Economic Community. First, we can see the little example. For example, the language. All of the local workers in Indonesia, they need to learn international language such as English. But we see the fact that they are still not can fulfill the requirement to be the one of the workers who have already to face national Asian Economic National Community. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that the responsibility of the government is often cited how legislating a minimum wage for worker will also affect the competitiveness. Being Indonesian or another country in Asian will drive potentially foreign investor away the make the cost of doing of the business. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, we still proud to stand that foreign workers are better than local workers.
Thank you for the first speaker of the affirmative teams. And next I go for the first speaker from opposition teams to give her speech. Time is yours.
Good morning, honorable adjudicator and from government side. I am from the opposite side. It's not agree with the statement if the foreign workers are better than local workers in Indonesia. Why? Because if we see in this era, in generally local workers is already